You know, when you really stop and think about it, the universe is just mind-bogglingly huge. And in all that space, all that silence between the stars, there's this question, one of the biggest, most unsettling questions we've ever come up with.
I mean, the numbers are just crazy. We're talking hundreds of billions of galaxies, and each one has hundreds of billions of stars. If you do the math, the number of planets that could be like Earth, it's in the sextillions. That's a number with 21 zeros. So, statistically speaking, the universe shouldn't just be quiet. It should be loud. It should be like a cosmic city, absolutely buzzing with life.
And yet, when we point our telescopes out there and listen, we hear nothing. Just silence. Which brings us to this really simple question that the physicist Enrico Fermi just kind of threw out there during lunch one day back in 1950. He's talking with his colleagues about how aliens are probably everywhere, and then he just stops and asks, "So, where is everybody?" And just like that, the Fermi paradox was born. It's this huge nagging contradiction, right? On one hand, you've got this high probability that there should be civilizations all over the place, but on the other hand, we have found absolutely zero, zilch, nada in terms of evidence. So how do we even begin to solve this thing?
Well, you know, sometimes to get a handle on a huge new mystery, it helps to look back at an old one we already solved. Because long before we were asking, where is everybody, astronomers were wrestling with a different puzzle about the universe.
And that question was, believe it or not, why is the night sky dark? Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a kid's question, right? It's dark because it's nighttime, duh. But it's actually an incredibly deep paradox called Olber's paradox.
See, the logic goes like this. If the universe was infinite and had always been here and was just filled with stars everywhere, then no matter where you looked in the sky, your line of sight would have to hit a star eventually, every single point. The whole sky shouldn't just be twinkling, it should be blazing bright, like looking directly at the sun.
So why isn't it? Well, the answer completely turned our understanding of the cosmos on its head. It turns out one of our basic assumptions was wrong. The universe isn't eternal. It had a beginning. The Big Bang, about 13.8 billion years ago. That means we can only see the light from stars that has had time to travel to us in those 13.8 billion years. Anything further away, we just can't see it yet. That darkness you see between the stars, that's literally the shadow of the beginning of time. A simple question with a universe-changing answer.
Okay, so just like the dark sky was a clue about the universe's past, maybe this great silence is a clue about life's future. With that in mind, let's circle back to the Fermi paradox and look at the first group of possible answers. This is the idea that the silence isn't really silence at all. Maybe they are here, and we're just missing it.
Okay, a perfect example of this is the famous face on Mars. Back in 1976, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter beamed this picture back, and people went wild. I mean, look at it. It's a structure that looks so much like a human face, a mile long, just staring up from the surface of Mars. Was this it? The smoking gun? A monument from some ancient Martian civilization?
But then, we got a closer look. Years later, a new spacecraft, the Mars Global Surveyor, flew over the same spot with a much, much better camera. And the face? It just, poof, disappeared. It turned out to be nothing more than a natural rock formation, a type of hill called a mesa. The face was just a fluke, a trick of the low-resolution camera and the way the light and shadows fell on that one specific day. The amazing evidence just vanished when we looked a little closer.
Okay, so what if the reason we don't find evidence here is because, well, they aren't here? This brings us to our second big category of theories. The idea that aliens do exist, but for a whole bunch of reasons, we just can't see them or hear them. In this scenario, the silence is real, but the universe isn't empty.
And some of the ideas here are straight out of science fiction, but they're seriously considered. You've got the zoo hypothesis, the idea that we're basically in a cosmic nature preserve and they're watching us from a distance, with a strict do not disturb sign. Or you have much darker ideas, like maybe the galaxy is filled with self-replicating killer probes called berserkers that are programmed to find and destroy any new civilization before it becomes a threat. So the silence could be a choice, or it could be a warning.
And that leads us to the third, and maybe the most sobering explanation for the Great Silence. This is the theory that we haven't heard from anyone because there is no one else to hear from. The idea that we are, to put it simply, alone. This is what's known as the rare Earth hypothesis.
To really get this, you have to look at our own timeline. The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Simple. Single-celled life showed up pretty fast, maybe a billion years in. But then, for almost 3 billion years, nothing much happened. Dinosaurs had their time. And then, just in the last little blink of an eye on a cosmic scale, just 200,000 years ago, we showed up. We're not just new to the party, we basically just walked in the door.
For most of Earth's history, this is what life looked like. Not skyscrapers and satellites, but these slimy mats of bacteria called stromatolites. For billions and billions of years, this was as good as it got. So maybe getting life started is easy, but the jump from this goo to complex, intelligent beings, maybe that's the real miracle. Maybe that's the great filter.
Yeah, the rare Earth idea is that for a planet to produce something like us, it needs to win an unbelievable cosmic lottery. It's not just about being the right distance from a star. You need things like plate tectonics to act like a global thermostat. You need a huge moon like ours to keep the planet from wobbling all over the place, which stabilizes our seasons. You need to be in a safe, quiet neighborhood in the galaxy. And you need almost 4 billion years of pretty stable, nice weather. Take away even one of those things, and we probably wouldn't be here.
So, here we are, right back where we started, just staring up at that vast, quiet sky. The paradox is still there, isn't it? It's like a giant mirror, forcing us to ask how important we really are, or how lonely.
When you boil it all down, it seems like there are only 3 real possibilities. 1, we're blind, and the aliens and their evidence are all around us, but we can't see it. 2, we're deaf, and the universe is full of conversations we just don't have the technology to hear yet. Or 3, we're alone, shouting into a vast, empty void.
Look, in the end, we just don't know the answer. But the question itself leaves us with 2 possibilities, and honestly, both are kind of terrifying. Either the universe is teeming with life, and we're just one of countless civilizations, or it's completely empty, and we are it, the only flicker of consciousness in all of this darkness. Both of those ideas are huge. They both carry this incredible weight. So I'll leave you with this. Which one do you think it is? And more importantly, which one carries the greater responsibility for us?